Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and today we're going to be making a spinner shaker card. And the sparkle blends I'm using are Stockings Were Hung, this tree die from my stash. That's the extra piece that you get from die cutting it out. I think this came in a Simon Says stamp card kit, but I'm not 100%. So this, I've got my acetate, some pattern paper. And then my cardstock is 5.5 by 12, so I did have to crack out the 12 by 12 paper. If I did this over again, I would invest in some thicker cardstock or adhere two pieces of the 12 by 12 together just to make it a little bit more sturdier. So I've scored this at 4 and 8, and I'm going to, fold one way and fold the other way. Then I'm going to take my rectangle die just from my stash, and I am going to cut out a window on this front panel. So I'm just going to tack that down, run that through my die cutting machine. And now I'm going to adhere my pattern paper just using some double-sided adhesive. This helped to give it a little bit of thickness. This is just from my stash. I'm not even sure which paper collection this is from. So you could customize these for any die cut that you have, any occasion. Feel free to, create. I saw this on Pinterest in a slimline version. I just didn't have a rectangle die that was large enough to do a slimline, and I didn't want to try to do it on my paper trimmer because I never managed to get that to come out straight. So I am using some of this green distress ink, and the name of it I've completely forgotten, just to give this top layer of my tree a little bit of extra dimension. And I am going to put my acetate on the back of it and trim it off around. I just used a random scrap and then used my scissors just to cut underneath the edge of this just so it would not show on the outside. And I didn't have you watch me do that because it did take me quite some time to do. And then I'm going to adhere my string. So I am using some fishing line. It does have a slight green tint to it. You could use clear thread, anything you want. And I'm just tacking that down with my double-sided adhesive. And I have extra just so I know I can customize it for when I get it on the card and not have it be too short. And then I'm just using some of the Darice foam strips because they fit perfectly behind this frame. You could use, double up your foam tape and cut it to size if you wanted to. You could actually make this a flat shaker if you wanted and just adhere the shaker bits inside. It just wouldn't move as much. The other option would be to stack several of the frames of the Christmas tree with cardstock and do it that way so you don't have to use the foam tape if you prefer to do it, And so now I am going to put my shaker elements in, which are from Doodles Paper Playground. They are sparkle blends, and I will link the Etsy shop below. I am guest designing for them for September and October using the September release. And so, like I said, this is Stockings Were Hung, and I love all of the blends that are in this release. So if you don't follow along, the Facebook page, Sparkle Blends fan group, I'll link it down below, is where I'm going to post the majority of my projects. They won't all be videos, but if you want to see what I've created, I would definitely recommend following along over there. And so then I'm just going to add some extra glue to make sure that this adheres down, and I am going to put down the backing of this die so that I can trap in all of my fun sequins. And then once I get that done, I am going to take the whole piece and adhere some double-sided tape to the outside of that frame, just on the top and the bottom, so that I can pin the fishing line or whatever string you're using to the card base. The first time I put it on too high because when I put the frame over it, you could see where I had the tape and I didn't want it to be a sticky mess, so I managed to pull all that up and reapply the tape a different piece, obviously, because this I managed to pull up some of the cardstock, but I managed to put it a little bit closer to the actual edge so then it wouldn't be seen when I put this frame on. And this is a frame that I just used the size die that I used to cut out my centerpiece here, and then the next one up I put them together and cut them out over some red glitter stock from my stash to create this frame so that I can tidy up the front of this so you can't see where all of my elements are hidden. And so we'll get that put in. I pulled it I didn't pull it too tight, but I wanted to make sure that the tree would spin when you open the card. And so we're going to get that put in and then push down. And then I'm going to take another piece of the double-sided tape and just put it directly over the fishing line and not take the backing off, so I can kind of make sure that that doesn't come apart over time. Then I'm going to trim down, I'm going to put down the frame using my art glitter glue, and then I will trim the fishing line so that you can't see it. I just used my scissors to do that, and I had to make sure to open the card because I did use wet glue, and knowing me, I would have adhered the entire card completely closed. And after I filmed this, I did add a white piece of cardstock on the inside so that I could write my message, and again to make this a little bit sturdier. So I hope that you will check out the Etsy shop, Doodles Paper Playground, for the newest release of Sparkle Blends and the older ones. All of them are limited edition, so when they're sold out, they are sold out. I hope that you liked today's project, and as always, I hope that you have a great day.